Um, Let me explain a little bit to you about the list itself, and I can align the questions that you'll be asking with the script.
Mm-hmm.
Here, these are the names of the Democrats that we're going to call in, some unaffiliated. The phone number that you'll be calling is over here,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the corresponding list. The right here, you see the acronyms
Mm-hmm.
that match up to this group right here. So if somebody's not home, you just do not home, and I think they're very easy to understand. We don't have we have a lot of wrong numbers. Sometimes we have quite a few wrong numbers, and we have quite a few people that are not home. And we are leaving a message, so if you get a number that answers and it takes you to the answer machine, go ahead and leave a message. Basically, just go through the script and say something like, it's Democratic headquarters, we were calling to find out, and then just kind of give them a short rundown of the pertinent dates, like when early voting starts,
Mm-hmm.
and possibly you can tell them where the early voting sites are.
Okay.
Now, when you do that, the community center in Edneyville is only going to be open from the 25th to the 29th. These other sites will be open from the 14th to the 30th.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. And then absentee ballots.
Absentee ballots. For absentee ballots, people actually have to call
Mm-hmm.
the Board of Elections to get an absentee ballot. They have to fill out a form, and it has to be very personal because they have to have a personal signature
Sure.
on that.
Sure. Okay.
So that's not something that we can do for people. If someone needs to change their address or change their registration, and this phone has been directed to the new address, don't worry about getting that address for here, but do tell them that when they go in for early voting, they can change their registration address at that time as well.
Now, if they're supposed to vote at one precinct and their address is changed, does that make any difference if they?
Yeah, until they excuse me, until they filed with the Board of Elections, they need to go to the old precinct and vote because that's
Okay.
where their record will be.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Otherwise they get turned away.
the other questions, go through the script and just get the idea of what it's asking.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel that you need to change the words to fit yourself, that some feels more comfortable with you, do not hesitate to do that. The important thing that we want to know is, are they willing to commit?
Mm-hmm.
And we're hoping that they will. And even if they're not decided here, if they're willing to commit to vote, we want to know that, and that would be a yes. Now, strong Democrat is usually someone that's a candidate or something like that, but nowadays people feel very strongly about it. You can get a sense of what that is when you talk to them. They're not sure, but they think they're going to probably go that way, then you would call them leaning in that direction. If they absolutely don't know, then they're undecided. And then also, we want to know the information here about whether they're Republican, they're going to vote Republican or what.
On each person, or?
The North Carolina House, we have no Democratic candidate running for that office. They were not able to get somebody to do that. So the only ones that we have to know about are the three, the
Okay.
U.S. Senate, the U.S. Congress, and the North Carolina
Okay.
Senate. We also, the attend event is not something we need to worry about at this point. We would like to be able to get volunteers if we
Yes.
can.
Okay.
And we want to know if they do want to have a slate card, and that's what this is basically, showing the different candidates that are running for office.
That they can take to vote with them, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. We're going to be mailing some of those out as we get closer to the election. And if you can get an email address from them and ask them if we could send them emails, that would be very good.
Okay.
And so you can write that down. If the phone is disconnected, then we would call that a wrong number. As you can see, not in service, not accepting calls. Some phones that we've called are people that are not accepting incoming calls. So basically to us, we can't leave a message, we can't talk to the person, so that's a wrong number for us. I'm trying to think if they've moved, or if the person is no longer at that number but the rest of their family is, then that would also be considered a wrong number because the person we're calling for is no longer using that number.
Okay.
Okay? Pretty sure that's just about anything that's gonna happen. You have the brochures on what's at stake during this election.
I do.
And, you have some other information. If you have any questions at all, we're here. We're ready to help and we're ready to answer your questions.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
And you have this card.
All right.
Yeah. Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Jim? Jim, we're done. Do you have any questions?
No, it's pretty, clear.
And one of the things, we're gonna be doing this every Saturday.
Uh-huh.
And if you find at some time that it's impossible for you to come in, we would be glad to get some of these lists to you.
Okay.
And also the office is gonna be open from 2 to 5 every day during the week
Okay.
until the
So
end
can
of
some
early
calls be
voting.
made then to them and you come up and call?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, great.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, as I say, I'm just sort of on hold.
And we will be getting you a Hendersonville 1 list. I just thought maybe you could go ahead and
Sure,
start with
that's
Fletcher.
fine, yeah.
Yeah, and Rich is printing out Hendersonville 1. Okay. Thank you. Do you have any questions, Matt?